Anyhow, we will just come into democratic politics. How long? It's very difficult for me to come here and then go back. You know that the recorded things will be there now. Today's day 22, no? 20 years. Your exam started now.
It ended on this.
Yes. How was the last? Nice. Which social ka which all lessons were there?
Social what and my democracy, constitutional design and electoral politics.
Okay, that all things we have covered. See, here we are going to learn about democratic rights. What is democratic rights? Before that, let us see what is right. According to you, what is right? Anyhow, I think
Like
we'll
the
sit
basic
and
thing a person can do in a country.
it is not that thing. What we claim, it's mine. Like that, we can claim. Such thing is called a right. Now, at home, you just demand something from your parents, thinking that it is your right. But you may not demand it from your neighbor, or that much strongly you will not ask from your relatives also. But you know that it is your parents' duty to give you, and it is your right to give. So this kind of rightful claims. So the word is that okay, what we can claim from, that is what we call rights. So in a democracy, there are certain rights we can claim from the government. That rights are included in our constitution with a name called fundamental rights. Fundamental, the word fundamental means basic. They are the basic rights which a citizen enjoy. We know that yeah, in a democratic country, the people are called citizens. Okay, these citizens are only claiming, or citizens are only having that right to claim. So that kind of basic rights claimed by the citizen from the government is called democratic rights. Got it clear? Now, this is about the fundamental rights. There are certain other rights which are called human rights. What is human right?
Like anyone outside the country, all over the world, people have this right. Like fundamental rights may change from country to country.
Country to country, but another difference is that as a human being, we have certain rights: right to live, right to work. All these are called human rights as a human being. See, if anybody come and kill another person, The right of that person is denied. That is a human right. Got it? Human right and fundamental right. Fundamental right is rights enjoyed by the citizen of the country. Uh, okay, that is what a fundamental right. But the human rights are the rights of as a human being. See, we have the freedom as a human being to move around. That means somebody coming and telling that no, you cannot move through the road in this time. So that is not to be questioned. That is that time only you got some urgency. You want to get a medicine from that medical store which is working 24/7. So you want to go. That's your freedom. That's a human right. Understood? So, right to life is a human right. Right to work is a human right, but in South African constitution, it is a fundamental right. Right to own property, that is human right only. It can or cannot. There is no. There are people who are not having any property.
If you have money,
Ah,
if you can afford.
yes. So, but some countries are including it as fundamental right. That is what you told. There are differences varying from country to country. Clear? Then another thing is that right to vote. Right to vote is a democratic right. It is not a fundamental right. In a democracy, people use such a right because there are many people who are not voting. So it's a democratic right. See the difference? Democratic right is right to vote. The human right is right to live, and a fundamental right, right to equality. That all. Yes, that all things we will study. You got the difference between now life without rights. That is why we need rights. If a question comes, why do we need rights? So, if there is no right, what happens? We are not able to live properly as a citizen. If it is not given, we cannot live in the country as a citizen. So, when we are citizens of the country, we need certain rights. That fundamental rights are essential. Then, in a democratic country, the right is the right to choose the representative. I have told you different types of rights according to the condition also there. That is one example I have told you. You have the freedom to go out anytime which you think you can go out. So if your right is denied, then what is happening? Your basic right is denied. There are so many incidents happening in mega cities. Night when girls or that ladies are moving, they are being attacked. So their right to live, their human right is only violated. Got it? Did you get the example? That day we were discussing about Nirbhaya. So that is her right to move around is denied. So that is a basic human right. Here, 2, 3 examples are given as case studies.
For life without rights.
Huh?
For life without rights.
Without right. Life without right, uski baad the prison in Guantanamo Bay. You just read it.
About 600 people were secretly picked up by the US forces from all over the world and put in a prison in Guantanamo.
Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo Bay, an area near Cuba controlled by the American Navy. Enes's father, Jamil A. Bana, was among them.
So, people from Iraq were forcefully taken.
For the prison.
There was a prison earlier. Guantanamo prison was there. That was near Cuba. That region was controlled by US Navy. Okay, they only made that prison. So people from any part were forcefully taken and dumped there without having any trial or without informing their own country. That was the human right violation. Later only people. See, do you know that there was war between US and Iraq?
Right. Between.
Yes. That leader of Iraq was killed. So that kind of problems were there. So anyone felt suspicious to that US were taken and dumped there. Understood? So that was what violation? Human right violation.
The American government said that they were enemies of the US and linked to the attack on New York on 11 September 2001.
So do you know that attack? No. There were twin towers.
Yeah, twin towers of plane. Yes.
That was happened on 11 September 2001. So Americans suspected this Anna's father was also involved in that. Okay. Bin Laden, have you heard about Bin Laden was the leader of this terrorist group. So America doubted this person belonged to that Bin Laden's group. So taken.
In most cases, the governments of their countries were not asked or even informed about the imprisonment. Like other prisoners, El Bana's family got to know that he was in prison only through the media. Families of prisoners, media, or even UN representatives are not allowed to meet them. The US Army arrested them, interrogated them, and decided whether to keep them there or not. There was no trial before any magistrate in the US, nor could these prisoners approach courts in their own country.
So now, what is the fundamental right? If any person is detained or arrested, they should be produced before the magistrate within 24 hours. And that magistrate will decide whether to be imprisoned or not. But these people were taken like that. They interrogated that officers, interrogated and dumped into that. Means so many people were put in jail. Because jail is not a place to dump a large number of people. So nobody, media was not aware of, UN officials were not aware of, nobody was aware of this particular place also, and this type of human right violation. Got it? Amnesty International.
An international human rights organization collected information on the condition of the prisoners in Guantanamo Bay and reported that the prisoners were being tortured in ways that violated the US laws. They were being denied the treatment that even prisoners of war must get as per international treaties. Many prisoners had tried protesting against these conditions by going on a hunger strike. Prisoners were not released even after they were officially declared not guilty. An independent inquiry by the US supported these findings. The UN Secretary General said that prison in Guantanamo Bay should be closed down. The US government refused to accept these pleas.
So, one institution known as international organization known as Amnesty International. This was an international organization for protecting the human rights or going and finding about the violation of human rights. And they came to know about this prison and they informed it to UN, and UN ordered the US government to close down this jail and release the prisoners. Not only they were dumped, they were not interrogated properly, they were not trialed properly, they were found not guilty of any violence, still they were put there and tortured them. So, because of that, only Amnesty International interfered and compelled the UN to instruct the US government to close down that. For some time, that means for a few years, they did not obey, and finally they were forced to close down. Okay. Now, in Saudi Arabia, how human rights are violated?
The country is ruled by hereditary king and the people have no role in electing or changing the rulers. The king selects the legislature as well as the executive. He appoints the judges and can
all that points underline. What was the
and can change any of their decisions. Citizens cannot from political parties or any political cannot form political parties or any political organizations. Media cannot report anything that the monarch does not like. There is no freedom of religion. Every citizen is required to be Muslim. Non-Muslim residents can follow the religion in private but not in public. Women are subjected to many public restrictions. The testimony of one man is considered equal to that of two women. This is not true. This is true not just of Saudi Arabia. There are many countries in the world where several of these conditions exist.
So here, Saudi Arabia was ruled by a king who was hereditary, means not elected by the people. And what were the important powers he enjoyed? He only elect executive, he only elect legislature. So everything is controlled by an hereditary king. Then another thing is that citizens cannot form any political party. Then no political organizations. Media cannot report anything that against the monarch. Then no freedom of religion, only Islam is allowed. But nowadays it is allowed in private. Little public also it is allowed. Nowadays we can see that there are churches, there are temples. Earlier, so much orthodox people they were. And now the women's status, if you are seeing, they were having a low status. If one man tell something, that is valuable than two women. So one man's testimony is equivalent to two women testimony. So means if any woman complain, that will not be considered. Man, what he told is more important. So women were considered as lower strata, or they were not given equal status. Okay. So now so much changes are there, but still there are so many restrictions that we can find so many type of human rights violations. If you see that Gulf countries, what type of punishment is there? Sometimes we also will think their punishment is correct. What is that? In India, if any type of cases, very much we feel that person should be killed. That type of punishment, that is innocent child was kidnapped and raped and killed. So that small kid's life is ended over there. That man, with the help of advocates and all, he will come out freely. Many cases, proof is not there. But if such kind of things are found in Gulf, he will be executed immediately. What is that? Hand for a hand, eye for an eye, leg for a leg. That is which part of the body that person committed a crime, that part will be removed. So that type of instant punishment is there. So people are afraid to commit the similar crime. But in India, they will come out easily. They will do the same mistake next time also. Because sufficient proof is not there, or they are having, that particular person is having a good advocate to help. So that is why some cases we feel that the status of the people in some countries are lower than the animals. Some cases animals are given better care than the human beings. Okay, so three case studies we have studied, which are the Guantanamo Bay Jail. Second, we have studied Amnesty International, and third, Soviet. Now, ethnic massacre of Kosovo.
This is a province of Yugoslavia before its split. In this province, the population was overwhelmingly ethnic Albanian, but in the entire country, Serbs were in majority. A narrow-minded Serb nationalist, Milosevic, had won the international. His government was very hostile to Kosovo Albanians. He wanted the Serbs to dominate the country. Many Serb leaders thought that ethnic minorities like Albanians should either leave the country or accept the dominance of the Serbs. The Serbian troops entered the town and massacred an Albanian family in the town in Kosovo in April 1999. This was typical of what happened to thousands of Albanians in that period. This massacre was being carried out by the army of their own country, working under the direction of a leader who came to power through democratic elections. This was one of the worst instances of killing based on ethnic prejudice in recent times. Finally, several other countries intervened to stop this massacre. Milosevic lost power and tried by the International Court of Justice for Crimes Against Humanity.
It's during that Second World War only that this crimes against humanity, that type of one separate court was made because Hitler have committed cruelties. So that to be find out, for that purpose only crimes against humanity was made as a separate part. Okay. Now come the what is the problem of Kosovo. Kosovo was a part of Yugoslavia. Afterwards, it was divided. That is Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic, Slovak Republic, like that. So earlier, Yugoslavia was also a part of Balkan country. Now, what was the real problem? Here, the majority of that particular capital city of that place, Kosovo, was Albanians. That was a community, Albanian. Hmm? There was a kind of people called as Slav people, not slaves. Okay. Then Serbia was there. Next year you will study 10th standard. Serbia was that the people of Serbia were called Serbs. Now what is that? Majority were Albanians, minority was Serbs.
Serbs were majority.
Okay. Let me see that. Ethnic minority like Albanians. Albanians were minority and the Serbs were the majority. And in that election, Milosevic came to power. He belonged to that circle. From where it is? This light only. Where is the switch? So now, getting close. Now, Milosevic was an ardent servant. So he took actions against these Albanians. Clear? Now what was the problem? Here a small story was given there. What was the story? One day this Serb, that Milosevic ordered the army to kill that Albanians and take over their houses and all. One day, one old man and a woman, they were not having anybody with them. They were in their home. They were near that fireplace. By the time only this army came. Army snatched this man from that fireplace and shot him dead. So much bullets were there. And this lady was also dragged outside. She also died. Very old persons. And they burned that house also. Now, the lady for some time she was deserted. Nobody was there. In the helpless, that cold condition.
She didn't die.
Afterwards only, that is in the cold, extreme cold condition, she was there and she died. What we want to learn from here is not about that the brutality the people showed. Human right violation, the right to live is denied. This old man and the woman did not go to harm them. They were sitting in their house. Which government come to power? They are not. That is not a matter for this family. No problem is there for them. But brutally killed. This was a biggest human right violation. So many thousands of people were killed. And afterwards, Milosevic lost his power because of this brutality. There were so many pictures, so many type of writings came out about the places in Europe after the Second World War. What is that? There were mounds made with the head of the people. Means they were brutally killed and the heads were. So like that, so many places were discovered. Such brutalities were committed during the Second World War. Not just Second World War, we know that Hitler's time also such brutalities were there. So many lakhs of people were killed. So that is also a human right violation. Got it clear? So 4 examples, 4 case studies we have learned. In Kosovo, we have seen. Remember what is Kosovo's incident? Saudi Arabia, what was the human right violation?
And
Amnesty International, she fought to make that jail, Guantanamo jail, free, that closed and released that prisoners. So the first one was Guantanamo jail. Got it very clear? Now let's see that why we need rights in a democracy. Already we just started about it. See, We desire a system where security, dignity, and fair play are assured to everyone. Isn't it? We need security, dignity, and fair play assured to everyone. No one should be arrested without a proper reason and information. See, we ask for a warrant. If police come to arrest, where's the warrant? We used to ask. So that is very essential. Okay. So that is what without any proper reason or information, no one should be arrested. And if someone is arrested, he or she should have a fair chance to defend themselves. Now, the person who is arrested should have a fair chance to defend. Means why that person is arrested, that should be very clearly mentioned. Afterwards, okay, arrest is done. That person should be given a chance to defend. Clear? One has to grant the same to everyone. It is not only for the richest section, it is not only for the upper class, it is not only for the ruling class, it should be granted to all. Assurance should not remain on paper. Sometimes the government will write it in paper. Okay, these rights are given. But if it is not granted to us, or if we are not having the freedom to enjoy it, then there is no meaning of rights. Clear? Then it should be enforced that those who violate these are to be punished. In other words, we need a system where at least a minimum is guaranteed to everyone. Powerful or weak, rich or poor, majority or minority. This is the spirit of right, spirit behind the right. Understood? Why do we need rights? Now, what are rights? I started with that sentence only. Rights are claims of a person over other fellow beings. See, I have told you, you ask or you demand from your parents, not from your neighbor. So, you have that right to demand from your parents. Understood the difference? So, that is over the fellow beings, what right we are enjoying. What claims we are enjoying. That is what we call as rights. Over this definition you have to underline. Rights are claims of a person over other fellow beings, over the society and over the government. All of us want to live happily without fear and without being subjected to degraded treatment. See, we want to live as a dignified person. We want to be respected by others. Understood? We are not subject to others. We are having the right to be respected. So when we want that respect, equally it is our duty to respect others. Give and take, isn't it? So that is what the saying. You are getting now?
Yes.
The claims we make should be reasonable. That is what I told the example. You are demanding from your father, not from your neighbor. That is what a reasonable claim. So we are also demanding the right from our government. That is what the reasonable. They should be such that can be made available to others in an equal measure. See, right to equality, that rights we will study. So that time all should be treated equally. So equal measure only it is given. You are not a special person. I am not a special person. All are equal before the law. Thus, a right comes with an obligation to respect others' right. Now, imagine you are at your home. You feel like dancing. You are at home means you want to enjoy. So you just kept your this thing music system at high volume and you start dancing. So what happened? That may disturb your neighbor. In your neighborhood, that person may be sick or sleeping. So they don't want to be disturbed. But you are telling, I am doing at my home. What to do with you? I am doing at my home. So you are using your right. But your way of using your right can harm your neighbor. Isn't it? So that is why it is written that at that measure only we should use it. Hmm? A claim does not become our right unless it is recognized by the society we live in. So, in our society, we make a lot of claims, but if the society is not accepting that particular thing you are claiming, then you cannot tell it as a right. See, uh, it's my right, I will shout. Hmm? But we know that our government have made some restrictions of making big noises. That means music playing after 10 o'clock. Earlier, this was up to 12 o'clock also, 1 o'clock also it was there. But when the people objected it, there are so many people who are not interested to play that time. They don't want to go out also. That time only I am giving the example. They don't want to go out also. So they protested. So the government made a restriction. After 10 o'clock, no such music. So this is what we can claim to a certain level only. We will play. If you are playing like that, we will play that loud music. The police can pick you up. You cannot question that why are you picking. The rule is like that after 10 o'clock you should not. So this is what when we make reasonable claims, then only it can be a right. Got it? You are so much disturbed. Mobile is there. You are not disturbed, no? You are attending, no? Rights acquire meaning only in society. When there are people, then only rights have a place. Huh? You just think about the wilderness, desert region. Only one person is there. We have read about so many such stories. Alone person is there. Can that person have any right? Because when the person is there as a part of the society only can claim right. Then every society makes certain rules to regulate our conduct. Why? When we are living in a society, the society have so many regulations. Why that regulations are made? That is good for that particular society. See, when you are living in a condominium, so in that condominium, there are so many rules applicable to the members of that. Why it is made? Because that is good for that is other people also. That may not be the rule outside, but within that you have to follow. Got it? They tell us what is right and what is wrong. What is recognized by the society as rightful become the basis of. See, when a society made some rule, they think, that is the rulers who made the rules, think that it is right for the community or the society. Now, you might have seen in all the movies and all, ads used to come. Taking alcohol and all are injurious to the health. So, why that warning is there? The person who made that law might be a drunkard or smoker or like that, but for the good of the society, this one is given. Understood? So, for a common good, certain rules are made. Is it clear? Then, that is why the notion of rights changes from time to time and society to society. So, everywhere it is not the same. I'll tell you one example. We are living in a mega city. Okay. So, there are not that kind of limitations when a person should go out or come in. There are people who are working outside, they are coming late also. Their kitchens are, the lights of the kitchens are there even in the late night also. So no one can object that, okay, your lights should be off by 10 o'clock. No. But if you go to that our native villages or like that, we can find every houses, the lights will be closed by 9 o'clock. There will not be any light.
That's not allowed.
Means most of the people go to sleep. That village means may not be that kind of village, but still people go to bed. They used to have their dinner early and they go to bed. Hardly few houses we can see lights. So that way they cannot tell that everyone should shut your this thing or switch off your lights and you should sleep. It's not an order, but it is a practice because they work in the daytime, they will be tired of their work. So, night early by 9 o'clock, they will all sleep and get up by 5 o'clock. Here, we go to sleep by 2 o'clock and we get up late. So, it is not compulsory for that for the people that everyone should do the same thing. Those who can afford, they will. When the society recognized claims are socially recognized claims are written into law, they acquire real force. If it is written down in the law format, it is having validity. Otherwise, they remain merely as natural or moral rights. So, if it is written down and stuck on that entrance of a building, people casually will read and go. But if it is introduced as a law, earlier that those who are coming to take waste and clean our that staircase and all, those people used to take that waste together. The government have completely banned that system of taking the waste. They wanted to segregate that dry and wet. So those they were instructed if the people are not segregating wet and dry, not to take. So many times instructions were pasted on the buildings, nobody obeyed. When they stopped taking, people understood we have to segregate it. So this is what till that time it is implemented in the form. It is not having legal clear. 1 minute. The prisoners in the Guantanamo Bay had a moral claim not to be tortured or humiliated, but they could not go to anyone to enforce their claim. Because they were taken from Iraq, they were taken from other countries and dumped there. So who will protect their
They
rights?
weren't allowed to go out.
Nobody knew where they were taken. So whom to get help? So their moral right is also valid. When law recognizes some claims, they become enforceable. We can then demand their application. When fellow citizens or the government do not respect these rights, we call it a violation of infringement of our rights. That is encroachment into.
But like human rights are like right to live, which are like same for human all over. Like when like enemies are there from one country to the other, many times they torture them, kill them. So then their human rights are also violated. So then no one does anything about that.
See, that is going if they are encroaching into others' territory and doing, then we can take it up to that higher UN agency and then get it rectified. This violation has taken, see, some Pakistan government, they used to capture our people and they are putting them in jail without informing. So when such kind of things were there, our government notified it to the UN. Then the question came, they were forced to reveal. So that way, international agencies are there to work. See, Pakistan also have the right to live. We also have the right to live. So they will claim that we are using our right that Indians have encroached into their territory. That is why we have arrested and imprisoned. So we need the proof whether they have encroached or not. Understood? So that is not very easy for that. But in the case of that America's that intervention in that Iraq and all, so that was not their country. They went there and then captured and brought, thinking that they were the part of the Taliban. Understood? So that are to be questioned. That kind of issues are to be questioned. But one person captured, one person imprisoned and all, they have so many reasons to correct the side. Understood? When law recognizes some claims, they become enforceable. We can then demand their application. When fellow citizens or the government do not respect these rights, we call it violation of infringement. That is what the encroaching into. In such circumstances, citizens can approach courts to protect their rights. So, if you want to call any claim a right, it has to have these three qualities. What are the qualities?
It should be proven actually.
It should be proven. See, it is to be made into a written law.
It should be a written law. Then if
The law
it
recognizes some
that
claims.
is violated, and then third,
Approach the court to protect the rights. Okay, the claims have to be, the rights have to be protected. Rights are reasonable claims of person recognized by society and sanctified by law. So if, say, I'm telling one example, you have come from your home, okay, but you did not reach here. Huh? You told your parents that you are coming to the classes. You did not reach here. So what madam will do? Madam will contact your home, telling that that person is not reached the class. What's the problem? So the parent will tell, oh, my daughter has already left. This time she has left. By this time she should be in the class. So then what your parents will do? Because already we have informed. So your parents natural way is searching in your friends' houses, contact that all places. Then if they are also not knowing, then they will file a complaint. So that means they correctly get to know that you are lost. That is what happened to you, not knowing. So then it is the duty of that police to search you. Understood? This is what a enforceable right. That is, you are kidnapped or you have gone to some other place or not. But it is the duty of the parent to inform. This time you have come out and you told this uh, you are coming to the classes, but not reached. So we have informed so that they are searching for that. So this is what the proper procedure, and this is only for the rights, that is enforceable rights.